in 2016, I was part of a podcast produced by Hot Docs centered around Degrassi. Degrassiland had producers, writers, actors, creators, musicians, and me to play the part of Degrassi's biggest fan. I followed Matt Huether, writer and executive producer that had been with the show for over 10 years. Matt joined the show at an interesting time, the cusp of high school graduation. Our favorite characters are growing up and moving on, and Degrassi, well, they're going to follow. However, it wasn't a success.
Ew? Yeah, that was weird. And bacony?
In Matt Huether's monologue, he talks about why the college years don't work, sourcing 90210 and Saved by the Bell for facing similar challenges in their original 90s broadcasts. Today, I'm going to take you through Huether's perspective and explore why Degrassi The College Years, seasons 6, 7, and 8, had some of the lowest network ratings and why other high school dramas missed the mark. Season 4, Episode 7, Time Stands Still, otherwise known as the shooting episode, still remains one of Degrassi's most talked about moments. The original broadcast brought over 1 million Canadians and 500,000 Americans to their screen. 3 years later, in Season 7, Episode 17, Talking in Your Sleep, the kids are now in university housing. Paige is surrounded by roommates and lifelong friends, Ellie and Marco.
Things are great at work. I have you guys, and Andrea gave me a raise. Time to redecorate.
This episode brought around 300,000 viewers to its screen, a steady decline following week to week and into Season 8. So, what changed? Rick was a student in the middle of torment after abusing his Season 3 girlfriend, Terry McGregor. Forced to bear the hallways of high school, Rick's bullying escalates to a level that isn't unfamiliar in today's climate. But Paige, she has no stakes right now. Sure, the episode will continue to set up a storyline for our favorite Heather Sinclair enemy, but tuning into this episode and we have nothing to attach to. Matt Huether comments on this in a speech.
But in high school, if you skip class, they call your parents. So you have to go to high school, no matter what. Even if you professed your love for your crush behind the bleachers after the volleyball finals last night, and he said no and laughed in your face, you still have to show up and sit next to him in first period algebra this morning. In high school, to get to your locker, you might have to walk through the hall that contains your bully's locker every single day. In university, you can walk the long way. The whole thing is a pressure cooker.
Paige's biggest worry right now is potential roommate conflict on home decorations. And, oh yeah, she has a crush on her extremely attractive roommate who is clearly into her. Now, it's harsh to compare these two episodes, but many of the College Years episodes follow suit. Emma hardly faces the consequences of smoking pot, Marco gets a pet bunny to handle his loneliness, and Ellie spends a whole season repeatedly battling her newspaper editor-in-chief boyfriend for any article to get the attention it deserves. The stakes just aren't the same. When you grow up alongside these high school characters, you find an episode, a character, a storyline that speaks to you. I personally followed Fiona Coyne's storyline from made-up boyfriend through her obsession with her best friend, all the way to her finally coming out of the closet. That was my story. You hear fans time and time talk about their story in Eli's bipolar disorder, Ellie's cutting, Paige's rape, Marco coming out of the closet. But who found their story in the college years? So why have shows staked through this format over and over again? The 90s kicked off with the Beverly Hills 90210 gang. They snatched Tiffany Amber Thiessen from the halls of Bayside High and attended California University, where high costs and low ratings made this its 10th and final season. Dawson's Creek took its 5th and 6th season through Worthington, USC, and Boston Bay before it reached its inevitable decline. And Saved by the Bell made its spin-off The College Years, which lasted 1 season due to low ratings. And Degrassi, they trudged through seasons 6 to 8 with The College Years sliding its way through poorly rated A-plots. Paige's girlfriend spends all day getting baked instead of finding a job. Paige and Ellie kiss, Marco and Ellie hook up, Emma hates being called Blonde Emma and bakes weed brownies for cool college points, and Marco gets a bunny best friend named Hip Hop because he's lonely. Huether comments on why Degrassi, like many others, stuck to their guts that this was the right choice for their characters.
We thought the audience loved the characters so much that they'd rather follow them beyond the halls of high school than lose them altogether. And we thought there might even be more exciting stories as these characters grew into young adulthood. After these 3 seasons of experimenting, though, we learned we were wrong.
I mean, it makes sense. In theory, if you took the same well-loved characters, continued the comfortable and predictable trajectory of university after high school, threw in some more adult consequences like sex with a HIV-positive partner, gambling addictions, Emma and Manny again finding themselves in a 3-way crush triangle, your formula says you should come out with a popular season. Perhaps not growing viewership, but at least maintaining the current fan base that you've developed over 6 years.
We were wrong.
So why did Degrassi and all the other teen dramas before it fail to make the college years work? Huether paints us a picture. It's because high school
It's kind of like prison.
Huether references how in high school, you're stuck inside the same walls day in and day out of an institution where wardens litter the halls to ensure you follow the rules. In university, you're free to do what you want, go where you want, see who you want. Ultimately, you lose your stakes. That's why it doesn't shock us when you think about Degrassi. You probably don't jump out to call your favorite episode from season 7. You don't recount Kelly or Griffin as your favorite characters. The college kids don't hold titles like Accidents Will Happen, Pride, Time Stands Still, Rock This Town. The college kids are in charge of their consequences. High school kids take what's assigned to them. And that's why Degrassi is like a prison. And we don't care what comes after the release date.